I'm Spencer Mazyck, and joining me now to discuss value-based billing is Robert Lipstein. He's a partner at Crowell Moring. Welcome, Robert. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Spencer. Glad to be here.
So, Robert, there's been so much talk in the last couple of years about value-based billing for law firms, but tell me, why are lawyers considering something other than billable hours?
Well, I think, Spencer, this is really being driven in large part from the client side of the relationship. Clients have recognized that there's a real disconnect between getting things done efficiently and a billing system that charges by the hour, which really rewards effort and not results. So there's really a disconnect between what law firms have been doing traditionally and what clients would like to see done. And so we've come to a different, the beginnings of a different paradigm in how to charge for legal services.
So what's the main complaint, though, from clients about hourly billing?
Well, it's the lack of predictability. If you don't know how many hours things are going to take to get done and you're being charged by the hour, then you wind up getting surprises at the end of the engagement or at various points along the way when you've got a budget number you're giving to your CFO, and then you have to come back a quarter later or 6 months later and say, sorry, that budget isn't good anymore. We're now $1 million or $2 million past that. So that's really, I think, the main concern that clients have with the hourly-based billing model.
Well, and if you had to define the movement, and yes, I'm calling value-based billing a movement, how would you describe it?
Well, I think it's really a paradigm shift in terms of trying to align incentives between the law firm and the client. So it really encourages a conversation at the beginning of the engagement as to what do you want, what do you, the client, want to achieve by hiring outside counsel for this matter? What do you call a success? What would be a win? And then to structure a fee arrangement that creates an incentive structure for your lawyers to deliver that win within the budget and within the time constraints and the resource constraints that you have for that project.
So it's really tying payment to quality of service and output, or I guess outcome, rather than just to output.
Exactly right. It's more to results achieved rather than effort expended, I think is exactly the way to think about it.
Well, and some folks have said that this will actually make law firms more competitive, and I don't know whether or not that's true, but if it is true, why is there sort of this reluctance to embrace it? What are the concerns here? What are the fears?
Well, let me take that a little bit on each side. I think on the law firm side, there's just the fear of the unknown. The billable hour model has been what's been used by many firms for many years. They know it. They know how to price using it. And quite honestly, a lot of the compensation systems in the law firms are built around that model. On the client side, it's many of the same fears of uncertainty as to what is the right value-based billing arrangement for a particular matter. If they use a flat fee, for example, clients often say, well, what happens if the matter is resolved in a week? Have I somehow overpaid for the engagement? So there's, as in any situation, when you're moving from a known relationship, even if it's not an optimal one, to an unknown, there's fears and challenges on both sides.
Yes, and I have to ask you, though, can you give us just a couple of examples of maybe some popular fee structures within the value-based billing movement? You mentioned flat fees. I imagine that's pretty popular.
I think that's become the most popular one, Spencer, because we've got the issue of certainty there. That's where the client can say to a CFO, this litigation is only going to cost us X amount of dollars. I have a flat fee with my law firm, and that's how it's going to get done. Some other arrangements that are being used are holdback arrangements, where a portion of the fee is held back by the law firm and is only awarded based on the client's satisfaction with the engagement. It's not really the typical success fee that you think of as it's not directly tied to the outcome of the matter, but it is directly tied to whether the client feels that they got good service and good value out of the relationship.
Well, and the value for any particular client, I mean, for any particular service, it's going to vary from client to client, isn't it?
Well, it will, and that's why we have to have this conversation at the beginning of what's important to that client on that engagement. It may be that a quick resolution of the matter is most important because the litigation is a disruption to the business, or maybe the business has got to be sold in the next 30 or 60 days and the litigation has to be completed for that to happen. In other cases, it may be making sure that you have a good long-term relationship with a supplier, even though you're in the middle of a dispute with that supplier at the moment. So what is valuable to the client will change from situation to situation, and the fee structure should reflect what's important in that context.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot for just a bit, Robert. If you had to predict, come 2020, what percentage of law firms do you think will be using some form of value-based billing?
I think any law firm that is around at that point would have to be using value-based billing to a fairly significant extent. You know, there are some people who do think that this was just a response to the economic downturn of the last few years, and that when the economy comes back, that the hourly billing model will come back as well. I don't think that that's the right way to be thinking about it. And certainly we at Crowell Moring are pushing further and further down the road of value-based billing with as many clients that we can persuade to do it.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned your firm, because I was curious whether or not you and your practice did it. What percentage would you say of Crowell Moring or your practice actually uses value-based billing?
Well, of course, it varies at any particular point in time, but approximately 35 to 40% of what we do is on some kind of value-based billing structure.
Okay, and so for firms out there who might just still be a little reluctant, uncertain about what this means, I mean, is there a way for them to sort of ease into value-based billing? Is there something like a value-based hourly billing?
Well, I think most people would take the view that any hourly-based billing is not really a value-based billing proposition. But that said, there are certain approaches to billing, such as a blended rate, which you pay the same rate per hour, regardless of who's actually working the matter, that we see a number of clients asking for as something that they think helps control the cost of legal spend for them.
Well, I have to say, it does sound like the wave of the future, so thanks very much for being here and talking to us about it today.
My pleasure.
For more information on this or other topics, subscribe to BloombergLaw.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.